And Senator Fred Thompson joins us. That's quite a choice. Is she a possible candidate, or is that us being giddy on a rumor?
I'll always pick the giddy on a rumor side when it comes to Washington. Yeah.
All right. Well, probably I do too. But it's not. She's certainly. It's not unrealistic that she might be on the roster. She dazzled people a couple weeks ago in Utah in the Republican Party. Yeah,
no question about it. And she's an outstanding person. Everybody knows that. But one person's opinion doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense from Romney's side, doesn't make any sense from her side. I don't think Romney wants to spend the next few months talking about the Bush administration's policies with regard to Iran or North Korea or anything else that takes the focus off of him. I don't think she wants to get down into the mud in the political arena. She's said time and time again she's a policy person. She's never run for anything. I think his campaign is getting dirtier by the minute. I think that she doesn't want to be used to attack Barack Obama, which is what the vice president's role in large part nominee would be. I think she would be attacked from the so-called black leadership who determine in this country what's proper for black politicians to do and not do as a traitor. And she knows all this. And I don't think that she wants to do that or spend her life that way. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But
let me give you the flip side. Governor Romney has no foreign policy experience. She does. Whether you think it's good foreign policy or not, she has a rich portfolio of foreign policy experience. I realize that she was in the Bush administration, which is very controversial, but the Bush administration also has many people who are strong advocates for what was done. She's a woman. People get sort of energized at the thought of a woman on the ticket. That has a plus. She's African-American, may peel off some votes from President Obama, so that may help. You say that they don't want to, that the people don't want to be talking about the Bush administration. I don't think Governor Romney wants to talk about Romney care. I think he'd probably rather have everyone talking about Condoleezza Rice maybe and Iraq than probably talking about Romney care.
I don't think. Well, what is Obama going to want to talk about? That's the question. You're seeing right now the President of the United States, all the problems we've got and everything that's going on in the world, playing the smallest small ball he can possibly play as to when Mitt Romney left a job years ago and went to do something else, and whether or not some company outsourced some jobs and that sort of thing. That's all they would be talking about. They would be talking about, if you criticized Obama with regard to his policies with regard to Iran, the fact they're getting nuclear weaponry, they'd talk about, well, how much progress did you make under the Bush administration, Condi? If they talk about North Korea, the same thing would apply. It's not a question of what Romney wants to talk about. It's a question of what Obama would be talking about and what the comeback was. Romney is not going to lose this election because of any lack of foreign policy experience.
So who would be, I mean, who's in sort of the universe of choices that you think would be smart political choices?
I don't know. There's several. There's several that would be good. But I think with all the attributes that Condoleezza Rice has, and not to mention the fact that, she's pro-choice, and which would burn a lot of people, although I think it's based on federalism more than anything else, not quite as bad as it seems.
She described it as moderate, which I'm not sure what that means, but...
Well, I think she's concerned about the federal government, dictating in that area. But still, she, with all of the attributes that she has, I think that she understands basically what her role would be and what she'd be required to do and the slings and the arrows that would come her way for a job that in some respects, depending on the president, might be lesser than the one that she had.
All right, let me talk about something you wrote about the Electoral College.
Yeah.
And I'll jump to the headline and you can explain that under what you wrote, correct me if I'm wrong, Governor Romney could win the overall vote, but President Obama would win the Electoral College, which of course is the prize.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that. It's my nightmare scenario of the week. I've got a site called Fred Thompson's America, which I spout off on these things from time to time, and I'm not a political scientist and haven't pretended to be one since I was in college, but I do read a lot, and I take away this. Obama's going to have a hard time getting the popular vote. Gallup tells us that an incumbent president's approval rating in March of the year of the election is pretty much what he winds up with on Election Day. If he's under 50%, he's in trouble. Obama's at 46%. in March. He's at 47 now, I think. But if he's in that neighborhood, he's going to lose the popular vote. But we realize that, you know, that's not what counts. There are 8 to 10 states where the whole game is played. All the rest of the states are either strong red or strong blue state. Nobody pays any attention to them. All the money, all the power of the presidency, all of the deals can be cut in certain cities and certain places in a handful of states that I think gives the incumbent president the advantage there. It fits with his game plan. He's spending in those swing states now an unbelievable amount of money attacking Mitt Romney. He's trying to kill him in the cradle before he can get his feet up and under.
We're gonna have Ryan Priebus on in a second, chair of the RNC. But I did a little research. I had my staff do some research. Virginia, Indiana, Ohio, Colorado, Iowa, Missouri, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, all swing states.
And Florida.
And Florida. All under, right, I don't think Florida's on my list. No, Florida's not on my list.
Should be.
Well, no, I'll tell you why. All under the national unemployment rate, those states. These are all swing states with unemployment rates below the national level. So while everyone's saying the economy is so important, I wonder if these states, by virtue of the fact that they seem to be in a better economic position than those other states.
And he's targeting those states, spending, like I say, a ton of money, trying to undermine Romney's credibility before he can get his legs under him and get to spend the money that he's raising. Now, he's outraising Obama right now, but it might not matter. His strategy is to divide the country and undermine and attack Romney.
Is that dirty? Is that fair politics?
No, I'm not saying it's dirty. I'm just saying it's realistic. And he's got a policy for every group that he's going after: the blacks, the Hispanics, the single women, students, public sector employees. And if you notice, with regard to just about every one of those groups, he's had a recent policy conversion or a recent initiative. And he knows what's going on. His campaign knows what's going on in each of those states and what buttons to push, and that concerns me. I just say, if you're in a red state and you're for Romney, you better double down and keep it red. And if you're in one of these swing states, you better work day and night.
Is there something, in light of your concern, is there something Governor Romney could do to reverse that trend, to change your concern?
Well, I think that maybe he's got to do something a little bolder, a little more dramatic than what he's doing. Well, like putting some meat on the bones that he's been laying out there. Explain why we're the freest, most successful nation in the history of the world. Explaining why free enterprise is a good thing and has brought more freedom and prosperity even to the poor than any nation not only in the world but in the history of the world. Why Obama is appealing to people who will divide this nation. The great uniter is now spending all of his time trying to divide the pie instead of making the pie bigger. Why his policies are a farce. He's concentrating on things like soaking the rich and the Buffett rule and things of that nature to soak the rich, which would pay, if somebody figured it out, for 4 days of government spending. So it's all an appeal to the lowest common denominator. It's an appeal to someone who supposedly is the darling of the intellectuals. He's appealing to ignorance. He's appealing to passion. This whole outsourcing business, I know that it's difficult to run a campaign and talk about something like that. But, you know, it's clearly something that whose time has come. Most companies have to do it. Their investors demand it. Their consumers who look for cheaper products demand it. And if you want to look for the biggest outsourcers in the country, look at Obama's Council of Economic Advisors. So it's really small ball, divisive ball that the president is playing. And he's got to call the president out on that. He's got to do in the general election some of the things that he did against his primary opponents that worked.
Senator, thank you, sir.
Thank
nice
you.
to see you.